Cancer.
Hello Cancer, this is your forecast for May 2015, and so you've come through your two eclipses, the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse. That solar eclipse there that was visiting your ninth house there, 29 degrees Pisces in March 20th, and also that blood moon that we had April 4th, that was showing up here 14 degrees in Libra, in your fourth house, in the area of home and family and whatnot. So there might have been something there that was illuminated for you there April 4th. Now what we're having is your new moon for this month. And remember, a new moon is time to put down your intentions and also write that abundance check. And if you don't know how to write it, there is a video on my channel, so you can check it out. But that is to attract more money and prosperity in our life by the very law of attraction. So that is showing up for you in your 11th house this month, and that has to do with your hopes, your dreams, the things that you're reaching for there on an idealistic level. And it's also you socializing with groups and organizations and perhaps networking with new people as well. And for those of you looking to spread your wings and attract new people into your life, well, the new moon is really, really good for that. The new moon this month here is going to be May 17th. That is the time to write your check and to place your intentions. Now the full moon we have May 3rd, and this month for you it's going to be in the 5th house as opposed to that blood moon in the area of home last month. This month, this energy is going to bring about an illumination between you and your love relationships, your partner, perhaps, but also in the area of children. So there might be something here now that's going to be focused upon, perhaps more needs due to them, that they might need you in a different way, or maybe you're going to need some help or support also from them. But it's also the area for self-expression and creativity. So you might just feel that this full moon is full of it, okay, wanting to come out. Think about the moon bursting at its seams, right? So a great creative time for you here at the top of the month there at May 3rd. Then we have the sun, that new moon, and Mars here in your 11th house. It's a social month for you here, Cancer. It's good for you. Maybe, you know, here as it's spring, starting to warm up a little bit if you live up north, and get together with friends. Maybe it's potluck time, and start socializing again. Now, Mars is in this area that energizes you, so you might be taking some lead on some level, and as you have been here throughout April. So all of April has been important and busy in that sense. Mercury and Venus is in your 12th house, and let's talk a little bit about Mercury, because Mercury is going to retrograde here depending on where you live. It is between the 18th or the 19th here of May, and it will retrograde straight through into June to the 11th or 12th. And as always, when we have a retrograde, we don't want to start anything new or sign anything unless we don't have to. Being in the 12th house, 12th house is always your inner self. It's your sanctuary. It's when we listen to our inner thoughts and we pull back a little bit, especially after a very busy time that the 11th house is, right? And now it's into that 12th. However, you're still busy because Mars is up there, but Mars is just about to join it as Mercury goes retrograde, as Mars then will be on your 12th cusp. So it's important here that you now pull back to recharge your batteries. You've had a very busy last 2 years, Cancer. You've gone through it and you have stood your tests, and the universe now wants you to put your feet up when Mars goes into Gemini, which is that 12th house. So that's from 13th, okay? And let Mercury do its thing. It's time to think back, you know, all the things that you did, choices that you made. Was it good? Was it right? Do we need to retweak it and go over it again? You'll have time. You got 3 weeks now in this inner sanctuary. It's a good place actually to have Mercury retrograde, I feel. It is accompanied here for at least a little bit until that of May 8th when Venus is here. Venus gives love to what? The 12th house, to that inner sanctuary. So you're giving love to self, okay? Those needs that you have. It's time to meditate, do yoga, go to the spa or something. As all of this is now charging you up for a whole full new year, when Venus is going to go back out into the public world, so to speak, and out from the private world, and then Mars is going to be following behind it. Mars will be here for the full month of May. They're in that 12th house, so he's going to need a little bit more extra charge. But we have also Saturn is still retrograde, and it will be to June 16th. And so for right now, it is in your 6th house for health, the overall health. It's also you working on structuring your day-to-day routines, getting your schedules down. It's been here for a little bit, so it's given you ample time, and maybe most of you now have come to the point where you've seen how Saturn has helped you actually structure this area. Isn't it nice? Yeah. So, but it is a month. If we in general here can just talk a moment here about May, May may not be a month where it's full charge ahead, not just because of Mercury retrograde or Saturn being retrograde. Jupiter is with us now. That's the good news. Jupiter is moving forward, so we're going to see how that's going to lift and rise. And for you here, Cancerians, you're going to see that, how it's going to pick up speed for you in your money and income sector. Okay, you're going to see that it's going to start taking on its wings and flying and broadening this area for you. But the whole month itself, we got a lot of oppositions, we got a lot of squares. We call that a dynamic chart is what we're going to have now. And that doesn't necessarily need to be bad. It shows stress, but sometimes stress can be good stress too. What it means is that we're moving all these bits and pieces around in our puzzle now to try to make it fit. We had those eclipses that ended something, but it also opened up for new opportunities. And now we're looking at where do these pieces fit, right, for the new. So the universe is going to test you and ask you, do you really want this, or is this what you want? And we start out here now on the 3rd. Mercury and Saturn are going to be opposed to one another. Mercury is your thought. It's still direct here at this point. And Saturn is authority, whether it's your own inner authority or maybe it is a boss, or it could be a father figure, it could be your husband. But Saturn here will feel like a roadblock because you might be eager now to jump. You've got new beginnings, right? And then Saturn's going to play the devil's advocate. And that might just, you know, stop you dead in your tracks a little bit while you're contemplating. But for a reason. When you feel roadblocks, don't get frustrated. See it as an opportunity to climb up a few notches and look at your life from above, from a higher perspective, because up here we don't have emotions. Okay, it's only when we're down in our physical body that we feel and then we get frustrated and whatnot. But when we come from this higher perspective, all we do is actually see. And when we see, there's no emotion in it, but we get that perspective. So the 3rd, 4th is a little bit difficult days because Mercury might want to act. The Sun here wants to act, but it's squaring Jupiter, and Jupiter is kind of like saying, are you sure? Because, you know, be careful what you wish for because you may get it. So we have to be careful for our wishes, because once Jupiter now passes the Sun, it's going to open it up for us. Think about the new beginnings from the eclipse, right? And on the 6th, we've got the Sun and Pluto. The Sun being you, Pluto here being a transformation. Think about the eclipses. Transformation from the old into the new. Now this is a great aspect. It's going to lock something down that you felt a little on edge with those first couple of days of the month. But then we're going to run into a small, maybe a little disappointment or setback, some news that we get on the 9th that may not be what you had been hoping for, but that's okay. Remember, the universe knows why it's doing what it's doing, okay? So just roll with it. On the 15th, the next transit that we have here is Mars and Saturn. Now, Mars is fiery, you know, it wants to go, it's determined, it's got its goals. And then here comes the devil's advocate again saying, are you sure this is what you want? And if so, why do you want it? And are you ready? Are you prepared to take on the new responsibility? Or should I say the karmic effects from this decision? This opposition happens once every 2 years. So you're adjusting the scales. If you're ready and you feel set, then you'll get a green light and you'll feel good about it. If you still have some red flags, well then maybe listen now to the retrograde coming up just in a couple of days. They're on the 18th, and rethink before you move ahead again. Maybe this is why Saturn is kind of slowing us down slowly by putting on the brakes so that we are more aligned to and inclined to listen to Mercury retrograde this time, so that we can look back over, because going from an old pattern jumping into a new, that's not always easy, because the pattern you're working on right now this month is not going to carry you just for the next coming weeks to your next reading, right? After these 2 eclipses, you're putting down a new foundation which is going to be with you for months, maybe even years. So it's an opportunity where you can actually lay this foundation perfect, absolutely perfect, so you can have it perfect in years to come. If you just jump without thinking ahead, thinking long-term consequences, well, it's going to be harder to turn that pattern around, say, in 2 or 3 years from now, because then your surroundings will say, well, why do you want to change it now? You've been doing this for years. See what I'm saying? So if you feel that, well, smile to yourself and say, wow, this is a perfect opportunity to really make it the way I want it. Now, on the 16th, it's a romantic day. We got Venus and Neptune together. They're doing the dance. So this is one of the highlights of the month where you can actually go out and have a nice romantic evening. On the 22nd through the 27th, here we have a whole week, nearly, with, I won't say complications, I will say there is a little stress, and therefore I think also the universe kind of put brakes on a little bit earlier in the month. Why? Because now here we're looking at Venus and Pluto. They're opposing one another. Venus rules money, Pluto rules big money. There might be some discussion here on this day that might not be in full agreement. And then on the 23rd, we have the Sun, which is you, and then Saturn, which is this authority figure that you'll be encountering, or you will be the authority in this situation. And I think it has something to do with what was spoken about the day before on the 22nd. Now you've had a little time to think about it. You're putting your feet down firmly on the ground, establishing what is important to you. Now this is going to be ongoing through the 23rd, the 25th, and 26th. Venus is going to square on Uranus, so that's changing up the matrix of how it used to be, because it's wanting now to implement these new changes. Mars is right there. Your strength, your determination, and your goal is squaring up on Neptune. So it might feel like you're a little bit in the fog, so to speak, a little confused, like where is this going to go and where is it going to end? Because it's been several days now where you're working through with a specific person. Whoever that is, only you will know, but you will recognize it when you get there. On the 27th, though, Mercury and Mars are conjunct. So that's your communication. That's Mercury being very firm with Mars, saying, well, this is my stance, this is what I'm going to do, this is where I'm heading. I've had these couple of weeks now to think and work through it. this is what I want. And then you might not yet still see the outcome of it, because Mercury is going to square on Neptune on the 29th. The Sun is going to square on Neptune. So it's like you may state what you want, but you may not get back what you're expecting to hear yet. Only next month will show where that's going. So you could see this month for you is a month of change. And so it's all about now speaking your highest truth, staying true to yourself. That's going to get you through it. And then these squares and oppositions, by next month they're moving into new positions. And I'm feeling this is when you're going to see how things are going to be revealed to you, when the eclipses are really disclosing what these new beginnings are all about. But you can't get to there from here without this work through, and that is what this month is all about. It's like the ocean and the river meeting. Right in here, it's neither fully salt water nor fully fresh water. You're kind of like right in there. But then from next month, it will separate and you will be exactly in that new place. So I'm excited about June. Be sure to subscribe so you get it for next month. And then we have Pluto right now also being retrograde. Pluto is working on your marriage if you are married. If you're not married, it's still working on those very close and intimate one-on-one relationships you have, whether it is with a partner or who it may be. But Pluto here is going to be retrograde until fall, 25th of September. So it's giving you a good time to really renew yourself from the inside out. So by the end of September, say they're coming into October there, you will meet the new you. And these changes are subtle, but they're powerful. They don't happen overnight. It's a step-by-step process, and trust me, when Pluto moves forward again, your relationships or the way you relate within a relationship will never actually ever be the same again the way it has been in the past. And why is that? Well, Pluto's never going to come back into this area of your 7th house for, what is it, 165 years or so, or more. Maybe that's Neptune, 165. But anyway, so this is the time that you will be working through this, and it's a fantastic inner transformation which will have a huge impact down the road as you start living this transformed new being of you. So that is pretty much what we have here for you, Cancer, this month. That full moon there on May 3rd will hold a square to Jupiter. Jupiter is in your 2nd house. The full moon is in your 5th house. So there might be a decision here as well. And that could have to do with money. Maybe one of your children might need something extra. Or you might, if you have your own business, 5th house rules the business that you own. And Jupiter now funding money into that new business. Or it might just be you tweaking numbers to see how you can expand your business and make profit from it. Because Jupiter always likes to look at profit, and you have that in your income sector. So you're doing really good, Cancer, as opposed to where you've been over the last 2 years or so. 2.5 years, right? With all these squares going on. You've done great. So I want to say hey to all of you, especially that I have spoken to this month, and with our readings. I hope you're doing well. And I'll see you next month here now in June. So thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you in June. Bye now.